in Radha Kunda. And they were very exalted and very advanced. And they were going very rapidly towards attainment of this ultimate goal of life. So this Vaishnava, so happened that there were some persons, pilgrims, because always different pilgrims would circumambulate Giriraj Govardhan and come to Radha Kunda and different parts of Braj. So there were some pilgrims who were on their way to various holy places in India, and one of those holy places was Dwarka, the place where Sri Krishna lived, and lived in his form of Vasudeva Krishna as a great king, with 16,108 palaces and great opulence like this. He lived with his queens, 16,108 queens of Dwarka, and so many pastimes that are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. So this devotee decided, he was invited by them, and he decided, oh, let me go to Dwarka. I will also go there and see Dwarka. So at that time, a couple hundred years ago, and even to the present day, they have a system. They have like a very common practice that when people come to Dwarka, they get a brand of the 4 symbols of Vishnu on their arms. An actual brand, so that those symbols of Vishnu are there. This is showing your absolute dedication. Now I belong to Krishna. So this devotee, he also he accepted this branding. So this is a sign. It's a very well known sign, an indication that the person has been to the holy Dham of Dwarka, Dwarka Dham.
Is it branding with like an iron?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, it makes a permanent.
Occasion it does that to people.
Somehow, I don't know the exact method, but it makes a permanent, non-removable mark there. Okay. So, when that devotee returned back to Radha Kunda, and he was a very exalted personality, now again he attempted to resume his bhajan, because in his bhajan life he was very deeply absorbed, as we just heard, in bhavamai sadhana. Bhavamai, completely composed of this bhav, this mood of serving Srimati Radhika. And he could not enter anymore. When he attempted to perform his meditations, he was not able to enter. And he was becoming more and more frustrated. And then the other associates, they began to learn, and they understood, oh, Srimati Radhika is very displeased with him. He has attained the symbols of Dwarka. Very bhav, pratikul, very, very opposed to one's bhav. So they began to stay away from him because they didn't want to also be affected by this, so that they would lose their connection. Very, very high, very subtle. When one tries to approach that realm, oh, it is unapproachable unless one follows this exact pathway in the mood of the Braja Gopis, as we were hearing the other day. Oh, so then they completely neglected him, and this devotee, he became so much forlorn and aggrieved in the mood of separation. He entered into a very deep state of extreme vipralamba and separation. I'm rejected by Srimati Radhika. Oh, what will I do? What will I do? And he entered in such a deep mood, his body burned. You know, this happens. Different yogis and personalities. Immolation. They found only his ashes there. So this is a story to illustrate that, yes, on this pathway, one has to be very adherent to the very specific practices of sadhana that are given by Rupa Goswami And one has to go in that direction. Not prematurely. This person had attained greed. This person was qualified. Not like those who go there and try to imitate in Radha Kund. So many, most people, they go and they try to imitate. They have no actual greed. And they become contaminated by sinful desires because they're imitating. But when some greed comes, then one has to follow very carefully what the Shastras are telling. Especially the Shastras coming from the topmost Rasa Shastra gurus of the entire Sampradaya, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. There, the wealth of prema is waiting to be distributed to one who adheres to this. So this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Rupa Goswami, it is the handbook of the Krishna consciousness movement, Srila Prabhupada told. And therefore he gave it in the form of the summary study, Nectar of Devotion. And Srila Gurudev has given what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave as a study guide, how to study the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, how to apply it in one's life. This is very essential. Literatures. We should learn what is bhakti, how to practice bhakti. We should learn this carefully and we should try to apply it. Now we may not have very high adhikar, okay? We admit that we lack so much. We went around the room and we were telling in the beginning what we are lacking, what we are lacking. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Patita Pavana. Srila Prabhupada wrote this in the Nectar of Instruction, that Mahaprabhu is named Patita Pavana, and he is the savior of the fallen. So, we do have some adhikar. What is our adhikar?
We're fallen.
We're fallen. And when we approach Mahaprabhu in this actual mood of honesty and sincerity and simplicity of the heart, then he will elevate us. And his associates will also elevate us. And we'll go from our fallen position and we'll become Uttam. Instead of Adhama, low and fallen, we become Uttam. Gradually we'll become Uttam. But we have to practice. So, the message of our Acharyas, Srila Gurudev, going everywhere, all throughout the world, is practice this process. Properly hear, chant, remember, cultivate bhakti, stay away from the activities which will be detrimental to your bhakti. Go forward, go forward, go forward. Use this human form of life. Whatever is remaining in this life, no one knows how much time is there, but use every single day of your life to go forward and seriously practice the process of bhakti, especially hearing and chanting Krishna's names. And Gurudev would always come to the 8th verse of the Upadeshamrita. What is the essence of all instructions? Rupa Goswami has told that this is the essence of Upadesh, all instructions. Upadesh Saram. What is that? Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasini Yojya Tishtan Braje Tad Anuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayed Akilam Iti Upadesha Saram. Staying 24 hours practicing nice sukirtan, very deeply absorbed kirtan, sukirtananu, under the guidance of great Vaishnavas, following what they are instructing, tannama rupa charitadi sukirtananu, hearing and chanting about the names of Krishna, tannama, the form of Krishna, rupa, Krishna and his associates, tannama rupa charitadi, the qualities and nature, pastimes of Krishna, his associates, his abode, his dham, all of this, tam nama rupa charitadi sukirtananu, always chanting and hearing, smrityo kramena, rasana manasini yojya. And in krama, in sequence, gradually absorbing one's mind more and more. Smrityo, in remembrance of this. Rasana manasi niyojya, so that the mind becomes completely absorbed in this. Tishtan braje, tad anuragi jananugami, living in Braj. Tishtan braje, being situated in Braj. And that means, as we told the other day, living in the physical place of Braj Mandala. If one cannot do, then internally living in Braj. Tishtan braje, and tad anuragi jananugami, following the moods of the eternal associates of Krishna, Anuragi Jan and Anugami Jan, those who are following their moods. That means the Goswamis and our acharyas in this world, they're called Anugami Jan. Tad Anuragi Jananugami. Following them, Anu, the word Anu is used 3 times in this verse. Anu, means to follow. And finally, kalam nayed, akilam, using all of your time. Kalam nayed means all of your time. Akilam. Akilam means all. Iti upadesha saram. This is the essence of all advice given everywhere in all the Shastras. Here it is. This is the sar. This is the essence. So we have to go there. One day, Gurudev said, one day you will all have to do the sadhan bhajan shown by Raghunath Das Goswami. One day you will have to do this. It will probably be next life or life after that. But the only way that you're going to get there is if you start now in this life and you endeavor to acquire the adhikar, the qualifications. You endeavor to attain what? Greed. But also, you endeavor to attain this deep attachment and ruchi, taste. You practice, like we do in the kirtans, with those who are absorbed. Very, very beneficial. And we will go forward patiently. We know that it was not going to happen overnight. Patience is there, but intense desire. Those two combination, intense desire and also patience, both have to be there. And we're willing to wait. We're willing to wait. Because Janmani Shure Bhavatad Bhakti Rahaitu Kitwai. Mahaprabhu taught no other desire, only birth after birth, to have Ahaituki Bhakti, pure Bhakti in my life. So, Rupa Goswami and our acharyas, they have given us this treasure that Mahaprabhu came to give. And it's there, the roadmap is there. Gurudev said, I will show you the pathway that you have to walk. I will even walk with you and hold your hand. I will walk with you and hold your hand. But I will not carry you on my shoulders. You will have to walk on your own 2 feet. That means you have to do the bhajan, you have to do the bhakti. They will supply everything else, but you have to do it. Gaur Premanand. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai. Shri Rupa Goswami Pada ki jai. Shri Sanatan Goswami Pada ki jai. 6 Goswamis ki jai. Shri Rupa Anuga Guru Varga ki jai. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Jai Shri Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtana ki jai. Harinam Mahamantra ki jai. Gaur Premanand Hari Hari Hari. Vancha Kautuka Shiva Sindhu
Namah. Hare Krishna.